Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So in today's video I'm going to be building the Delarouge mansion, and it's called the Delarouge mansion because I built it for my famous sim in my personal game, and her last name is Delarouge and I just went with that. I didn't really want to call it like a modern mansion or a luxury mansion because there's probably hundreds and thousands of builds called that, so I don't know, I just called it the Delarouge mansion because it is her last name. I don't know, I think it's quite a cool name anyway as it goes. Like, I think it's quite a fancy name, but that's just me personally. But anyway, first off, I do want to address something in this video. So I have actually changed my YouTube channel name. So previously I was JessicapieYT, but I've just recently changed my name to Jessicapie, and it's now going to be my new YouTube channel name, and there's multiple reasons why. So for starters, with Jessicapie, there is so many people who have the name Jessicapie on YouTube. When people try and search for me, they tell me that they can't find me because there's so many people called it. And when I was starting my YouTube channel, I just wanted to put my first video out there. I was just so excited once I got my new PC to just build stuff and record it and just do videos, and I just settled with the name Jessica Plays because that is my first name, and I'm playing kind of The Sims. Well, I'm building, but Jessica Plays sounded better than Jessica Builds, and so I have changed my name to Jessicapie. I just think it's a better name personally, and also it is my name that I get called by my dad. He's just always called me Jessicapie, and it's actually quite funny because where he calls me it so much, some people actually think that it was my name at one point, and they asked why my last name was different to everyone else's instead of my actual last name. So yeah, I just decided to change it to Jessicapie, and I will change my gallery name as well, and my Twitter and my Instagram. I don't know what they're going to be yet because I haven't actually changed them over quite yet, but by the time this video goes up, which it will be going up tomorrow, I would have changed it, and I'd have all my new links in the description box below. And yeah, so I just wanted to address that quickly so there's no confusion, but I have now changed my name and I'm now going to be going as Jessicapie on this YouTube channel. So anyway, getting into the video, as you can see, I've basically done the main structure of the house, like I've done all the walls and stuff. I'm just putting in some windows now, and I did actually use a reference picture for this build. I just found this picture on Pinterest and I thought it was so beautiful, and I know a lot of people do use pictures for inspiration, and so that's what I definitely did with this build. I really like the way it turned out. It's probably my favourite build I've done. Yeah, it's probably my favourite. My favourite before this was the Enchanted Forest, which I did, which was a little florist. But this is I just absolutely loved it. Once I finished it, I told my friend to come in my room and just come and see it because I do live in a student accommodation, and so I kind of dragged him into my room and I showed him, and I'm really proud of it. I'm so happy the way it turned out, and it took me a very long time, and so I'm just so happy that I can play in it, and I just can't wait to play in it, just because I did build it for my personal sim, but obviously you can just play in it as well. So it's not just a build just for my sim exclusively, anyone can play in it. But when I was building this, I did have it in mind for my sim, which is Selena Delarouge. And if you've watched my previous videos, or more importantly my penthouse build, which was my first speed build once Get Famous came out, I believe, I built her an apartment, or a penthouse apartment, and that's who I built that penthouse for, and the mansion is now for her as well and her family. So it's all my big builds are for her, but she's such a cool sim. I absolutely love her, so I'm really excited to play in this house with her and her husband and their little girl, and yeah. But anyway, I'm now doing the landscaping on the house, and I do skip over quite a lot of the landscaping, but the landscaping is quite boring. I wanted to keep it nice and clean, and I didn't want to include that many flowers in it. I didn't want it to be populated with yellow and pink and all them weird it's not weird, but all of them kind of funky colours. I didn't want that. I wanted it to look very modern and sleek, and so all of the flowers and plants that I use are just green or pale yellowy kind of colours, just because it just looks so much better in my personal opinion. And then along the sides of the house, I just used the bushes just because I thought it looked very just sleek and, again, modern. But yeah, so I do cut out a lot of that because it's just a little bit boring just watching me put a load of bushes around the house. Well, I think anyway. If you don't think that, then let me know and I'll include it next time. But I just thought it would be a little bit boring to watch me put a load of bushes around this house, so I didn't. But anyway, now I'm moving on to the driveway, and I do actually change the lighting up in this house quite a lot because it's on the 50 by 40 lot in Del Sol Valley. So this was the Bailey Moon Mansion, and the lighting is just so strange. Like, it's always very, very bright at the back of the house and not that bright at the front of the house. And so when I'm going around, I do change the lighting quite a lot. I do apologise for that, but I couldn't really get around it. It was just a little bit strange the way that the lighting falls in this lot. But anyway, moving on, talking a little bit about the mansion itself. So this is a 5-bedroom house, and there's 5 beds in 5 different rooms, but if you wanted more rooms, you can very, very easily just add more. I didn't want to just overpopulate it with so many rooms because there's only so many Sims you can have. Unless you have a mod, you can only have 8 Sims anyway. But this is 5 bedrooms, but there also is a office which kind of doubled up as like a streaming room kind of thing, and then there's a walk-in wardrobe as well. I did her a walk-in wardrobe in the penthouse build which I did for her, and I absolutely loved that. It's just so beautiful, so I did a walk-in wardrobe in here as well. Plus I wanted it to be like a little bit bougie kind of. She's got so much money, this Sim, so why not have a walk-in wardrobe? There's also a kind of like a sauna, kind of like meditation-y room kind of thing. So there's like massage tables and all that kind of stuff in. There's a gym as well, if she wants to work out or if her husband wants to work out. There's also a laundry room which you don't have to use if you don't want to, but the house was so big and I thought might as well put everything I can in it. So there is a laundry room as well, and then there also is an underground vault in this house, just because obviously it's Get Famous, it's like a really like fancy kind of house and like money and stuff, and so I wanted to include the vault. So there is a underground vault also in this house if you would like to put your money in there. So in total, this house comes in at just under 500,000 simoleons, which is absolutely mental. I don't know how it's that much money. I mean, I must have obviously used just like the most expensive items in the game, but the actual accurate number of how much this house is 468,835 simoleons. So it's quite a lot of money, but if you've got really famous Sims, then I'm sure they'll want to move in here because it's literally got everything, like I said, like all of them different rooms, and you can expand it and you can build up if you want another level, and yeah, so it's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I personally wouldn't live in here myself because it's too big and I'd be scared that there'll be someone in a part of the house and I wouldn't know about it. But I mean, for your Sims, it's fine. But anyway, moving on, I'm just doing the little bar area out the back. And so I assumed that she would host a lot of parties and all that kind of stuff. There is charity events that they can host. And so that's what I kind of had in mind when I was doing this little bar area. Just so there's somewhere for all of the other famous socialites and all that to go. And there's a big pool. The pool is absolutely massive, and it's one of my favourite parts of the build, and you'll see why in a minute, because I spent about 45 minutes on the pool alone, and I know it seems ridiculous because it's just a pool, but you'll see in a minute I spent so much time on it. But I currently am just doing the bar, and I just thought, nice little bar area. I didn't want to close it off like I did with the sauna, because with the hot tub area, because that was kind of like with curtains around it and that was a bit enclosed. But with this, I wanted it to be open so you can swim up kind of, well, you have to kind of swim to the end and then get out and then go and get a drink, but whatever, kind of the same thing. It's very close to the pool, so it's like a pool bar kind of thing. But yeah, I just add them in, and I put them bottle decor things in the back, and I just think it looks really nice, and it's just a perfect little bar area. But now I'm doing the pool, and this is what I meant where it took me so long. So basically I wanted to add stairs into the pool, but you can't put stairs in a pool in The Sims, and you can't even do it with move objects or anything like that. But I really wanted stairs in this pool, and so I improvised and I thought of this idea, and I'm really proud of it, I must say. But it was using the Jungle Adventure kind of like a ruin kind of object, and I was sizing them down and then sizing them up, and I basically just made stairs, or they're not actual stairs, you can't use them, but they look like stairs, and it just looks so cool. I'm so happy with it. It's just like you can walk out of the house and then just walk straight into the pool instead of like jumping in the pool or whatever. And it took me so long, but it looks so good. Like, the payoff is definitely worth it. I don't know if they can swim in that area, but there is a very large area for them to swim in anyway. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. And in a moment, I'm just going to go and add some lights on the stairs. I'm currently adding some lights just around the pool, just so, you know, it's nice and lit at night. But I do obviously just add some lights on the stairs, which I'm doing now, and I use the move objects to do that, just because it's fancy. That's my excuse for it. It's just fancy, but I absolutely love this. And I have actually tried doing this before in a build, but it wasn't a build that I was recording. It was a build that I used to do. What I say used to do, I was doing before I started my YouTube channel, so there won't be any videos of me doing this before. But I did do it on my computer, and my computer didn't like it. It was making my game lag so much, and so yeah. But anyway, we're now moving on, and we're doing like the little sun lounges, and I use the little ottomans and the just like a lounge chair. It's nothing new. I'm sure you've seen it a million times before, but we haven't got any sun lounges in the game, and so this was an improvisation. I don't know if they can actually lay on them. I've never actually had my Sims lay on them before, or I think you could probably nap on it because it technically is an ottoman, but I'm not completely sure. But anyway, I'm just moving on and just doing the little dining area. There isn't actually a barbecue in this build, just because I felt like it didn't fit. Like, normally with barbecues, I'll have them in like a family house so they can have like summer barbecues and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like they wouldn't cook. Like, they'll just get someone to cook for them, or maybe like get a load of food in, like order a food online, like caterer come and just deliver it or something. I don't know. If you want a barbecue, you can add a barbecue in, no problem. But I just didn't feel like it would fit in with this build, and so that's why I didn't add one. But now I'm just going in and just doing the front of the house, and I keep this very simple. I just use the single little, I don't know what they're called, they're really modern small plants. You'll see me do it in a minute, but I just add them all around the edge of the fence. And I did add a fence in this build because the paparazzi are so annoying. Like, I wanted to be able to like fence off the whole lot. Apart from at the back, I obviously didn't fence off where the swimming pool ends because I wanted it to kind of be like an infinity pool. But you get the idea. I just wanted it so no one could get in apart from who they wanted to get in, and so that is why I added a fence around the whole entire lot. It's just so useful, so you don't get people like coming in and pushing the bins over and stuff like that, because that is so annoying. But yeah, so I added a fence, but not at the back. So I'm not sure if they can actually get in the back, because I mean, it's a swimming pool, like, so they'd have to like dive into the swimming pool and then get out and then go into the house, which I don't think your Sims will do. But yeah, anyway, moving on, I'm now going in and furnishing the house. So I did actually do the floor plan and the like wallpapering and the doors and all that kind of stuff, and I actually have a little bit of a story about it. So I actually did record it, and I wanted to keep the recording of me doing the floor plan in this build. I normally don't in my builds just because a lot of my floor plans are pretty basic, but in this build where it was quite a large build, I thought it would be good to keep it in so you could see how I did it. But my file, so my recording system, my recording software system thing, what I use when I do like screen recordings, for some reason only on the one file it corrupted the floor plan file. So when I went in and did the floor plan and then did the wallpapering, it was corrupted, and I tried to save it but I couldn't, and so I do apologise. I did actually want to keep the floor plan in this build because it's such a big build, and I thought it'd be interesting to see how I did the floor plan, but sadly I couldn't, and I do apologise again. But it's fine because in the screenshots, if you stick around for them, I will add a kind of like over, like a bird's eye view kind of thing of it, which I know a lot of people do anyway, but just so you can kind of see how it's set out and how I did the floor plan. But anyway, now I'm just moving on and doing the dining room. And the dining room is kind of just offset to the kitchen, so you have to go through the kitchen to get to the dining room. And it's a pretty simple, sleek dining room. I didn't want to add loads and loads and loads of clutter because it's this thing with modern houses. I find it so difficult to make them like look interesting because I love a bit of clutter. If you've watched my channel before, you will know that I love cluttering my houses. But with modern builds, I don't particularly like doing it because I want it to be like sleek and like a show house kind of thing. But with clutter, it's kind of hard to, it's just difficult. But I didn't add that much clutter in this room. I did in other rooms, like hand soap and all that kind of stuff. That's a really great example, but you know what I mean, like there is obviously clutter in the house, but I tried to keep it to a minimum just so it didn't look too over cluttered and just too busy. But yeah, as you can see, I just put in these kind of shelving decorations, and it just looks like that's where they keep like their plates and their cups and stuff, and I just thought it was a great thing to put in the wall so it just wasn't an empty space. Or I didn't really want to put millions and millions and millions of pictures on the wall, and so it was a good kind of alternative for that. But now I'm just doing the bathroom, and I only keep this bathroom in the build, so there is 4 bathrooms in this build, but I felt like it'd be a bit boring. They're all the same colour palette, so they're all light blue and white flooring, and they're all the same objects, but I just felt like it'd be a bit boring to watch me do the same bathroom 4 times, and so this is the only one you get to see, but the others will be in the screenshot, so don't worry about that. But I just put a shower and a bath in here, and then just a kind of not a double sink, is kind of a space of a double sink, but just cluttered it up with some little hand towels and just other bits and bobs like that. And then I do switch up that toilet just because I didn't like the toilet which came with Seasons. I think it was Seasons anyway. I just don't really like it, and so I did just switch up for the Fitness Day one. And then I put in the Fitness Day rug as well, just because I absolutely love that white rug with like the little gold triangles. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But now I'm just doing the like massage room kind of area. So there's a massage chair and like the laying massage thing. I don't know what the actual name of it is, but your Sims can just hire a massage therapist, and they will come over free of charge and give your Sims a massage. And I know quite a lot that my Sims do get negative moodlets if they've been at work and they just want to go to the spa, or just they're really tense and stuff, and so this will be the perfect place for come home from your audition or come home from your business meeting or whatever your Sim does. They can just come home and just order a massage therapist, and yeah, it's great. I mean, there's a little fish tank in here as well, so it's a really relaxing room, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I'm so happy that I get to include it in the build, because I just love having like a house which doubles up as like a spa and like a gym and just all these different things. I just absolutely love that, and so I'm really happy that I got to put it in. But now I'm just going to go around and just put some more wall decorations in, just so it didn't look a little bit too empty. I can't remember what I ended up putting on this wall. I ended up putting some shelves on and just some like little clutter items. And I was just speaking about how I didn't really clutter this house, but I needed to in some places. I mean, normally I would put loads and loads and loads of clutter in, but like I said, I didn't want to do that, but obviously I needed to do a little bit just so it wasn't too bare. But I just add some like incense and stuff, because you do get a good mood lit off them, and so there's actually 2 incense things in this room, and so your Sims will be really happy in this room basically. But it's just a really cool little place to go, and I do just add like a little flag decoration in here as well. But now I'm just moving on and doing the laundry room. Like I said, you don't actually have to have this. I just thought it would be like a perfect little thing in your house to have, because there was so much room in this house. I can't speak, I apologise. There's so much room in this house, and so I thought let's just add a laundry room. If you don't actually want to use it, you can just delete it, like delete the washing machines and delete the like laundry basket things, and just have it as like a utility room. So like have it as like a pretend closet or whatever you want. But with this house, I'm personally going to get a maid and a butler, and hopefully the butler will do it for us, because I haven't actually played with the butlers since Get Famous. I haven't played with Get Famous as much as you would think, just because I'm always building, and if I'm not building in The Sims, I'm doing like other stuff like work and stuff, and so I haven't actually played around with the butlers and like the laundry system. But I imagine that they're going to do it anyway. I mean, I kind of hope they do, because it's kind of like one of their jobs in like a typical house. But anyway, moving on, I'm just doing the gym, and the gym is at the front of the house, so you have them big windows looking out into, well, the fence, but, you know, beyond that. And just, there's 2 treadmills in here, there's 2 of them, like, exercise machines, and there's just a punching bag. And there is one of the bathrooms just off the gym, and so once they've done a workout and your Sims are, like, sweaty and smelly and a bit gross, they can just walk straight into the bathroom and just have a quick shower, and they won't walk around smelly anymore. But yeah, and now anyway, I'm just moving on and doing the lounge room, and I wanted the lounge room to be at the back of the house, and so this room has the most beautiful view, because you've got the big windows on the side, and it just looks out onto the pool, which looks out onto Del Sol Valley. And this, I'm pretty sure this is a lot that they showed in the trailer of, I can't think of her name, but the Sim that they showed in the trailer, which we got in the game, I think her name's Vanessa, I think, I'm not completely sure, I can't think of her name, she has blue hair. I'm pretty sure they showed this lot in the trailer, and in the trailer, if you've watched it, which I'm assuming you have, there was just a beautiful skyline, and it's just so amazing. Like, I absolutely love the way it looks, like just the skyline is just beautiful. And from this room as well, as you can see, I am building this in the like afternoon, because as I said before, the lighting in this house was a bit strange, and so I didn't want to have it really overexposed when I was building, because the lighting was coming in too harsh. But as you can see, with the afternoon lighting, it's absolutely beautiful. And above this, I do actually add the master bedroom, and so it has basically the same view, but just a little bit higher up, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's so good. It's like such a good place for screenshots if you've got like really fancy and famous Sims and you want somewhere to screenshot and like take pictures for, and it's just a really, really cool place to take screenshots in, basically, because the view is just absolutely amazing. But anyway, I'm now going in and just adding some paintings on the wall, and I don't know if you've noticed, you probably have, but throughout this build I've been adding paintings from my household I've entry in. And if you watch my last speed build, if you haven't, I'll link it at the end or whatever. But I created an art gallery for my Sims, and I actually downloaded the rooms which I made when I was making the art gallery, just so I had a little bit more paintings in the house, but also in the rooms, because I felt like I was getting bored of them, and I'm very limited with the paintings, what I can do, and so I always try and add in the paintings which my Sims made like last week or something, like a few days ago. And so if you see me doing that, that is what it is. But if you download this house, they will still be there. Like, don't think that they're going to disappear because your Sims didn't make them. They still will be there. And same with the art gallery. If you want to download that, the paintings will still be there if you want to kind of rebuild this yourself or anything, I don't know. But I'm moving on to the hallway, and that painting on the right is one of the pre-made paintings which my Sim made. And I said this in my art gallery video, I'm pretty sure that is a famous painting. I don't know the artist, I'm terrible with that, but it's such a cool painting, and it fits in perfectly with like the big blank wall, and it's just really modern, and it fits in really nicely. But this is just like the little hallway bit to get to the gym, and I had a little fireplace just because, you know, why not? It's a big house, they got a lot of money. Well, they obviously got a lot of money because it's like $500,000. But I had some awards of the fireplace just so it's not as cluttered with, you know, like tissues and stuff like that. But anyway, now I'm just moving on and doing like the entrance hallway bit, and I had this little sofa, and I was playing around with it for so long trying to figure out how to kind of structure this bit, because it was a bit like an awkward space. But in the end, I just add this table and just some little flowers on there, and I tried to incorporate this rug, but it just wasn't working because I always like to put like front door mats by my front doors, and so it kind of like clipped in with the other one, and I wasn't feeling it, so I did delete it. But obviously like the front door mat is still there, as you can see, because you can see it. But anyway, and then I just did this large marble table, and I just used 2 of the marble tables and just moved objects them together. and it just looks so nice and beautiful, and I absolutely love it. And moving on, I'm just doing by the back door, and I add this bookcase which I absolutely love. It's from City Living, and it's just something like, it's a really modern piece of furniture, probably one of my favourite pieces of furniture we have in the game. And I just use move objects again and just put like a load more awards on there, because whoever lives here is going to have a lot of money, and they're going to be quite up there in the hierarchy and stuff. And I imagine that even if you don't have an actress or actor live in this house, you can still have loads of rewards around the place, because it's just a fancy house. It's kind of the vibe that I was going for, if you couldn't already tell. But yeah, and I just add like a little back door mat kind of thing, the same mat as the front door mat, but obviously just for the back door. And then I just add some paintings just dotted about, just so it's not very plain and stuff. And then I also do another painting on the wall, which you have to go past this wall to get to the kitchen and then to get to the dining room. But I didn't want to leave it blank, because all of the walls in like the hallway is completely white. I wanted it to be very modern and just sleek, and so that's why I did that. Just loads of paintings everywhere, but trying not to put too many paintings in basically. But now moving on, I'm just doing the underground vault kind of system thing that is in this house. With Get Famous, we did get some vaults, and this household has a lot of money, so they're going to have a vault in there somewhere. And so I decided to put it in the basement, just because they're not the most attractive item to look at, if I'm honest. But I definitely did want to have it in there, so if you want to use it, there is one, just you got to go downstairs. But I had a little sofa in here, and then I also add some Jungle Adventure stuff. So I add these plates which my sim found in Jungle Adventure, but they can just be used anyway. And I just thought it would be really cool. So you've got all like your money and then like your fancy treasures and all that kind of stuff. And so I just thought it would be a really good place just to add some of them Jungle Adventure items, just because they are quite cool. And we don't actually have them in the build and buy menu, but I put them in there anyway. If you don't like them, you can delete them. But anyway, now I'm moving on to the upstairs, and I'm doing the master bedroom. The master bedroom is the room just above the lounge room, so it does have the exact same room as the lounge, the exact same view as the lounge. And so it's just a beautiful view, and you can kind of see the sunset coming in through the glass, and it's just stunning. I absolutely love it. But there is an ensuite in this room. It is the only room in the house, like the only bedroom in the house that does have an ensuite, and I just thought it's the master bedroom, it's got to have an ensuite. But I do put a dresser in here and just like a mirror from Vintage Glamour, which I absolutely love that mirror. I just think it's so cool. And the great thing about that mirror, it comes in 3 different wall heights. So it comes in the small wall, the medium wall, and the large wall. And there is some objects in the game. So the Seasons book, I think it's the Seasons bookcase, it only comes in the medium height, which is really annoying, because I'm not sure if you size it down if you can still use it, because some objects in the game, if they're like a usable, interactable object and you size them down or up, they do get like a little bit glitchy and you can't use them. But with the mirror, it's fine. Obviously, they come in all different wall heights, and so I wanted to use it just because it's just a really nice modern mirror. But now I'm just doing the walk-in wardrobe, and it's just off to the master bedroom, so it's not connected to the master bedroom, but it's right next door, so it's still in walking distance. And in here I just add like a little sofa, and I just wanted to add a sofa in it. I added a sofa in the last walk-in wardrobe I did for this sim, and I just think it's just so like bougie, and I just love it. And so I added a corner sofa from My First Pet Stuff, and then I just put this little painting on the wall, which I imagine would be a clothing thing that she got from like a job that she did, like an acting job, and that was one of the outfits she had to use or something like that. And then I added some more film posters, because I imagine they were like her latest films or whatever, or upcoming films, and so I added them on the wall as well. But now moving on into kind of like the butler's bedroom. So this is just like another bedroom. So like I said, there is 5 bedrooms in this house. I only show 3 of the bedrooms getting furnished. I don't show the other 2 guest rooms, just because I felt like it would be a little bit boring and very repetitive, and I didn't want to make this video super long, and so I kind of just cut them out. It's fine, you'll see them in the screenshots, but they're nothing fancy or anything. They're literally just like a standard bedroom. They're not too big, they're like a normal size bedroom in like a normal kind of size house, but I did keep this one in because this is one of the bigger ones, and so I imagine this would maybe be like the butler's bedroom or the butler's kind of wing, and there is like a balcony just off this room, but I didn't put a door in just because I preferred the look of having 3 big windows instead of 2 big windows and a big door. So there is no furniture outside on the balcony, but if you would like, you can just delete that window and add in some furniture or a hot tub or whatever you please. If you download this house, you can completely change it. Maybe I just did the structure for you if you don't like the way I'm furnishing it, but hopefully you do, because I did spend an insane amount of time at building this mansion house thing that I'm doing. But now moving on, I'm doing like the office, and I've actually now just realised that there's no actual computer in here, but there's all the other like electrical items. And so in the like 3rd or 4th bedroom, there is a computer in there, so that is like the only computer in the house, which I've just realised. But hopefully your Sims don't be using the computer too much because they're too busy with their lives. But if you want, you can just add a computer in, but I've only just now realised that there isn't one. But there is a streaming station, a like visual effects station, I'm pretty sure I do add the music station back in because I did just have it, but then I deleted it. And what I'm doing now with the lighting, so them big like box lights, I do delete because I just didn't like the look of it. So I do get rid of them in a minute, but for now I'm just adding some more frame checks on the wall, and I do just add a load more awards because why not? They've got a lot of awards in this house, like literally scattered about everywhere, just because they're really famous Sims and they're really good at their jobs. And I just add some more bits and bobs. I did want to try and incorporate them paintings, but I ended up just putting some certificates on top of the sound. I think that's the sound mixing or the visual effects mixing station. I'm not sure, I haven't actually used it yet. But there is one of them in there, and I also do add that little drone, and I just place it under the desk because I thought it was like a nice little cubby for it to stay. And then I do add that little like plum card thing, I'm pretty sure it's called, and I imagine it was like a YouTube award, like, you know, like the YouTube plaques. I imagine that would be in this room because it's kind of like the streaming room, and so I added that just because I imagine that your sim will be like maybe a famous streamer or something. But now I'm moving on to the last bedroom in this house, which is the little girl's bedroom. And initially when I was like doing the floor plan for this room, I was thinking, oh my god, how am I going to make this into a toddler's bedroom? Because this is a toddler's bedroom, so my Sims are married and they've just got a little toddler who's a little girl, and this room is so big for a toddler. It's absolutely massive, but it's actually one of my favourite rooms. I just love the way it turns out. It's just so cool, and even though she's a toddler, she's got like a walk-in wardrobe kind of thing. Like, wow, they're really rich, these Sims. But this is one of my favourite rooms in the house. It's just so beautiful. I absolutely love it, and I love that bookcase in the black and white swatch just because it looks just so cool. But then I just add the bed in, and it's so funny because it's such a big room and just a small little baby bed. It's adorable, but if you want to make the room smaller for your Sims, you can, but I just thought it works because there's a lot of stuff in this room. I do eventually end up filling it. I don't know how, but somehow I did, and it actually looks so nice. Like, it's a beautiful little room. But I just add in some toddler stuff, so like the toddler little block things, and I had that teddy bear, but I know that toddlers can't use it, but maybe when she grows up it's there for her to use. And I added these Parenthood chairs, and do you know what? I absolutely love them, but I've never been able to use them and make them look like they're part of the house, because that swatch that they come in is such a beautiful swatch, but I just haven't found a way to incorporate them in a house which doesn't make it look a little bit weird and like make them stand out. And so they were just perfect for this room, and it's so cute. It's just, there's two little chairs and like a little table and a little giraffe, and it's just adorable. And I do add some more custom paintings, well, not custom paintings, but paintings which I made on the wall as well. And now I'm moving on, and I'm just doing the hallway upstairs, and so it is quite a big hallway as it goes anyway. But I did add some sofas in there as well, just so if you're waiting for something upstairs. I don't know why you would be, but there's sofas upstairs for your Sims to wait in. And then I just had some pictures on the wall of some, like, maybe of a famous Sims or whatever, and I just really like the way it all turned out. And then yeah, I just add like a little chess table and just some plants and just some bits and bobs all around the kind of upstairs landing, just to kind of fill it out and just so it's not so plain and bare. But anyway guys, this is the end of this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and as always, if you do like my content, then please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next speed building video. Bye guys.